Okay, so you're looking into life insurance, which is a big step.
Yeah.
You're getting your affairs in order and thinking about protecting the people you love.
It is a big deal.
But maybe you're also a scuba diver.
Right.
And you're thinking, hold on, how does that affect things?
Exactly.
Do they even insure scuba divers? Is that like,
right.
am I going to be paying an arm and a leg? We found this really interesting piece from Diversified insurance brokers.
Okay.
And it seems like these guys know their stuff when it comes to divers and insurance.
Cool.
Let's dive into this together, shall we?
Yeah, let's see what we can uncover.
So right off the bat, insurance companies, they tend to see scuba diving as a risky activity.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? I mean, there are some inherent dangers in the underwater world.
Yeah, you're not in your living room.
Exactly.
You're dealing with, you're under pressure, you're dealing with equipment.
Right.
There's a lot that could potentially go wrong.
A lot of variables, yeah.
But isn't the level of risk, depend a lot on what kind of diving you do?
Absolutely.
I would think so.
Yeah, it's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Yeah.
They look at a bunch of different factors to figure out your risk as a diver.
Gotcha.
So they want to know your experience level.
Okay.
How many dives you have under your belt.
Right.
What certifications you hold.
Like PADI?
Yeah, like PADI, NAUI, SSI, all the big names.
Yeah, the ones you see on the dive shop windows. And
exactly. And then how deep you usually go.
Okay.
And even how often you dive.
So basically, like, how hardcore of a diver are you?
Yeah. Are you like a weekend warrior?
Yeah.
Or are you like, Jacques Cousteau?
Yeah. Are you going down to the Titanic?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're building like a diving resume for you to see how
risky you are.
To assess that risk. Yeah.
And that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
From their perspective. But that brings up another question.
Okay.
There's this distinction that they make, and you see it in the material here, between what they call like recreational diving versus everything else.
Right.
So what is it about like the everything else that makes it riskier in their eyes?
I think a good analogy is like driving.
Okay.
Driving on a quiet country road is very different from like driving in a Formula One race.
Right.
Both involve driving.
Yeah.
But the risks are completely different.
For sure.
So recreational diving, that's like your,
You're like your chill reef dives in Cozumel.
Exactly. Yeah. You're just,
hanging out.
looking at the pretty fish.
Yeah.
That's usually lower risk.
Okay.
But then you get into like the more specialized stuff.
Okay, like give me an example.
Yeah, so like cave diving.
Okay.
You're in these like confined spaces, often with limited visibility.
That sounds terrifying.
And you can get lost easily, like disoriented. It's very easy to get turned around.
Yeah.
So that amps up the risk like significantly.
Okay, so that's a big no-no for insurance companies.
It's definitely a higher risk factor.
Okay, what about deep sea diving?
Deep sea diving. Yeah, you're going way down.
Like way down.
Extreme depths.
Yeah.
You need special training.
Right.
Special equipment.
Yeah.
And the pressure is immense.
Yeah.
So insurers, they see those as like big red flags.
Okay, so basically if you're like a casual diver, like you go on vacation a couple times a year, you're probably going to have an easier time than someone who's like out there,
Yeah, if you're like a hardcore cave diver, you're going to have a harder time.
Yeah. And they're probably going to charge you more.
Most likely, yeah. You might face higher premiums.
Okay.
And this is where it gets a little dicey.
Okay.
They might hit you with what's called a dive exclusion.
A dive exclusion.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of that?
I haven't. What is that?
It's basically like a clause in your policy that says if you die while diving, they won't pay out.
So it's like your life insurance doesn't apply?
It's like your life insurance goes on vacation when you go diving.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
So what's the point of even having life insurance?
That's a good question.
If it doesn't cover you for like your main hobby.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important to shop around.
Okay.
And do your research. The good news is there are insurers out there who specialize in divers.
Okay.
Even the more adventurous ones.
Oh, so there's hope in our cave diving friends.
There is hope for the cave divers and the deep sea explorers.
That's good to know.
Yeah, these specialized insurers, they get it.
Okay.
They understand diving.
Okay.
And they offer policies that cover diving accidents.
Okay.
Without those exclusions.
Okay, so that's a big plus.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's say I'm a diver.
Okay.
I'm listening to this, and I need life insurance.
Yeah.
What are some like practical tips to get the best rate possible?
Well, first off, be transparent.
Okay.
When you're talking to these insurance companies,
Right.
tell them everything about your diving.
Okay.
Don't hold back.
Okay.
Give them all the details about your certifications,
Right.
your logbooks, every dive you've logged.
Like how many lobsters you saw.
Exactly.
Okay.
And any special training you've done.
Gotcha.
Think of it like you're presenting your diving resume.
Okay.
You're a professional diver.
Right.
You got to show them you're serious.
So the more info you give them, the better?
Yeah, they can assess your risk better.
Okay.
And maybe give you a better rate.
Makes sense.
And speaking of getting good deals,
yeah.
the folks over at Diversified Insurance Brokers, they suggest using a broker.
Well, of course they do.
Well, yeah, they're brokers.
Just say that.
But a broker can actually be really helpful, especially for something like diving insurance.
Okay.
Because it's so niche, they can do all the legwork for you.
Oh, okay.
They compare policies from different companies and help you find the best coverage.
Okay, so they're like a diving insurance concierge.
Exactly. They're like your diving insurance guru.
I like it.
Yeah.
So the big takeaway here is that just because you're a scuba diver doesn't mean you're like automatically going to be denied.
Exactly.
You're not life insurance. Yeah. It just might take a little extra effort.
A little more effort.
To find the right policy.
It's like it's out there.
Okay.
You just got to do your research.
Be transparent.
Be upfront.
Yeah, and maybe get yourself a broker.
A broker can definitely help.
Awesome. Well, that was life insurance for scuba divers.
There you have it.
But it does make you wonder.
What's that?
If they think scuba diving is risky,
right?
What other activities are they side-eyeing?
That's a good question.
Something to think about.
Yeah, what else is out there?
As you continue your life insurance journey.
Exactly. Food for thought.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Always a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.
See you later. Bye. CIN.